right? The point is, you do have a letter from the SHPO that says that there are mitigation issues that have to be resolved.
That is correct.
And one of those mitigation issues was proper use of the building. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if SHPO is telling you you need to keep the building up or give them a plan for keeping the building up, is that not a problem?
I'm confused. I'm sorry. Okay. Confused.
This is the situation. SHPO, who is the organization, wrote a letter to Tim Bonaparte and to RSA, and in that letter, it talked about mitigation issues. And one of the mitigations that they want to research is keeping the building up and using it as another purpose. So, do we sell that property to somebody? Do we spend the money to fix it up and use it in a different way? And they wanted to know, what have we done to think about that? And they want us to think about that as a mitigation, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, that whole process is not an easy process because we had already voted on taking the building down. So the question is, why are we even entertaining that issue when the public has already voted to take that down, that building down? So the question is, yes, we are wasting our time now, and we're spending it our wheels, and you're right, legal costs to answer that question. But there's another interesting part about this, because whichever group you want to call it, the Preservation Society or whatever, and the Rudolph Foundation have approached the state about declaring this a historical site, right?
That is correct.
All right, so they approach it. Now the Historical Society gets involved, and they want to start investigating this building, Chorley, as a historical site. But you know, there's a problem there. The site's only 43 years old. It doesn't even fall in the guidelines of being historical. So the question is, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here, folks? How all of a sudden is this term of historical being thrown around when it doesn't even fall into the age requirements? To me, that's politics. So you want to know why we hired an attorney? That's why we hired an attorney. We want them to look at all the facts. We want them to make sure that we are being treated the way that the law requires us to be treated, and that there's no shenanigans going on here. That's why we did it. And that's awful unfortunate that we have to spend the money for that kind of stuff. That building is a wreck. It leaks like a sieve. And it's embarrassing that our kids have to go to school inside that when every time it rains, there's a dozen or more garbage cans to collect the leaks. Now, come on, folks. This is about kids. Kids being educated in a healthy environment. That environment is not even handicapped accessible. In addition to that, we've already proven, you've done a cost estimate of what it would cost to make that building meet all of the requirements. And that was how many million?
40 to 45 million.
40 to 45 million dollars, folks. We can't even afford to keep our own staff, and you want to spend another $45 million to keep Chorley that leaks like a sieve? Come on, let's start. We need to focus on our kids. We need to focus on what's moving down the road positively. That's what's wasting our time. And it's wasting our money. That's the answer. And yes, there is an issue of mitigation. And we're wasting our time on that question because it's not an appropriate question from our perspective, and clearly declaring it a historical building when it's only 43 years old and doesn't meet the age requirements of a historical building poses the question about what's really going on here. So that's why we're doing it. We're taking care of business here. We know what the focus is, and that's what we're going to stay on target with. This public voted for that building. This public and community voted for that building be taken down. And we're going to move forward with it. Some people may not like that, but a vote was taken, and they call that democracy.